On this video, I'm going to give you 8 tips to be able to work inside on the heavy bags. And I guarantee you this, you're going to be better at hitting the heavy bag after you've watched this video than you are right now. There's a lot of coaches out there that don't teach what I'm about to show you on this video, but the benefits of being able to work correctly when you're inside on the heavy bag is massive. You should always be doing it like the way I'm going to show you. But before I get into them tips, there's a few things that you should be doing every single time you're on the heavy bag, regardless of your goal, whether you're trying to be a fighter or you're doing this for fitness. And the first thing that you should be doing every single time you're on the heavy bag is keep everything you're doing realistic. I see so many people, even fighters, when they're on the bags, because this is not hitting them back, they start doing stupid stuff like just getting lazy, dropping their hands in, start thinking they're like a Roy Jones Jr. And I get it, the bag's not hitting us back. But what tends to happen is you'll start to develop a bad habit. If I'm throwing a jab and I'm bringing it down here, just being lazy like that, then what would happen if I got into the ring and I kind of switched off when I threw that jab and this come down here, boop, I'm getting hit with the overhand right. But not only that, it doesn't look great to me. To the uneducated eye, it might look like, oh wow, look at that guy. He's got his hands down. He's working, he's looking like Prince Nazim Hamid. But really, I go in the gym and I see someone like this. I'm like, mate, who does he think he is? What's he doing? Like, if I'm in the ring with him, I'm going to punch him straight in the bloody face. Now, another thing that a lot of people don't do every time they're hitting the heavy bag, which you should do, is have a goal. If your goal is to get fitter and stronger, then you still need to have a plan to reach your goal. Just going in there and doing 4 3-minute rounds on the heavy bag, it will get you fitter, but if you go in there and think, at the end of each round, I'm going to go harder for the last 30 seconds, that's going to help you reach that goal even faster. Now, depending on what your goal is, you need to have a plan to get to it. Because, my friend, a goal without a plan is just a wish. That's a quote I love. Now, the next thing that you should be doing every time you're on the bag is also thinking about defense, different defensive moves. Like I mentioned earlier on, the bag is not hitting us back. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't work on the parry or the slip or even the roll or the lean back or the step back. We want to be working on them every time. And that right there can be a great example for a goal that you can have. I want to get better defense. So what you should do is work on defense every time you're on the back. Every time you throw a jab, you're going to slip. You're going to move your head. Every time you throw that 1-2, you're going to work on a defense after that. So them are 3 things that you should be doing every single time you're on the bag, regardless if you're working inside or on the outside. Keep it realistic, always have a goal, and never forget about your defense. Now, my friend, let's talk about working on the inside, and don't do it like that and say, I've seen Tony Jeffries do that in his video. Look at me. Don't do that, right? I'm going to give you 8 tips right now that's going to really up your inside game. And starting with the first one, which is you want to plant your feet when you're here. When you're planting your feet like this, with a slight bend in your knees, this is going to really help with your balance and help whip in them punches. Now, you might have heard coaches in the past say, bend your knees when you're on the heavy bag. And yeah, look, you can see my knees have got a bend in, but I wouldn't think so much about bending your knees, because I've seen it time and time again where a coach will tell someone, bend your knees. Next thing they're like this, they're not on the heavy bag with the bent knees. And they're looking and they're moving around with these bent knees with a butt sticking out like this. Mate, yeah, you got to bend in your knees, but not like this. Keep the knees nice and loose with them feet planted. And that's going to help you generate the speed and power that you need when you're working on the heavy bag. Bloody hell. Now let's move on to number 2, which looks like this. See what I'm doing here? I'm mixing it up from head to body, body to head. See, a lot of people think when you're working inside, you're only doing this just to work on body punches. But you're not. You can work on head punches. Because after all, if we're inside in a fight and I'm here and I'm just working on body punches, them's getting blocked all day long like this. So to open up the body, what have you got to do? You've got to hit the head. And then the opposite side of that is, if I'm hitting the body, where does that open this guy up? opens up out of the head. So that's why we've always got to mix it up, which if it was in a fight, it would keep the person in front of you thinking all the time. So when you are inside, you can go from hook the body, hook the head, or you can even stand inside with them. You can throw a few little straight ones and whipping that body shot, come back up, head, body, body, head. Always be mixing it up when you're inside on the heavy bag. Now moving on to tip number 3, which I just did there, and see if you can see what it's going to be. Did you notice? You might be thinking, well, every punch is hard, but it's not. It's the opposite. Every punch doesn't have to be hard. Just because your feet's planted and the bag's up close doesn't mean you need to be blasting like that. You're going to get tired fast. And when you start getting tired, that's when you start making mistakes. And I don't want you to make mistakes. I want you to get better at boxing. The reason why I put all of these tons of videos on my channel is to help you get better at boxing. So what I'm saying is, if you're tired by throwing every punch hard, it's going to prevent you from getting better at boxing. So that's why when you're inside, you can touch a couple upstairs, touch a couple of the body, then whip one in. Touch a couple, whip one in. So I'm here, exploding in that one punch. Keep that in mind when you're working inside. And when you do that with the next 3 or 4 tips, your inside game is going to go through the roof, and you're going to comment on my video and say, Tony, you are the man, you helped me so much. But why the bloody hell have you got your shirt off on this video? You never do that. Well, I'm going to talk about why I've got my shirt off in a little bit. But now, let's talk about tip number 4. And it's something that so many people neglect when they think they're going to work inside in the heavy bag. And see if you can see what I'm neglecting here. Did you see it? I'm going to do it again. What am I neglecting here? No, you missed it, didn't you? Well, it's how am I getting inside? Often, people just walk up inside, then they'll be here. Remember what I said at the beginning of the video about keeping everything realistic? If I'm in the ring with someone and I'm not going to just walk up like this, get close inside, then no, I need to work to get my feet inside. So the best way to do that is, if I'm here, I'm working on the outside, just on my jab. I'm going to do a little feint. I'm going to throw the punches, bring my feet close to the bag, and then go to work straight away. It'll look like this. I'm here, long punches. See what I did there? I feinted, got my feet inside, then I start working. And this is just getting you into great habits that you need to be in if you want to get better at boxing. And the other tips on here is going to really help you with them habits as well. Now, before I move on to tip number 5, I just want to see, do you enjoy this video and all the other videos that I put out on YouTube? Well, if so, you will love my Master Boxing course. But I don't just teach you everything you need to know to level up and get better at boxing. With over 120 videos on my course, I've got quizzes for each one of them, because when you answer a quiz about what it is that I'm teaching, that will help that retain in your brain. So I've got a little quiz for you right now, which I was teaching earlier on this video to see if it's stuck in your brain. And that is, what is a goal without a plan? Time is going to go down. Can you remember? It's a wish. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Now, you'll never forget that again because you've just done a quiz on it. And this is the same with my Master Boxing course. You'll not forget what you learn because you're doing quizzes on it. So when I'm teaching you these different reaction drills to get faster hands, faster head movement, and better footwork, you've done quizzes on all of them, and it will really stick with you. So every time you go to the gym, it will be there with you forever. You go to TonyJeffries.com or scan here, this QR code, it'll take you straight through to the website, and you'll learn more about my Master Boxing course. It's an absolute game changer. Now let's get back on with working inside. We're going to talk about tip number 5. See if you can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, you can tell, right? What am I doing here? I wasn't doing this earlier on. Moving your head. People will forget to move their head when they're working inside. Instead, they'll just be here with their feet planted or the knees bent. Like this. But watch how much better I look when I move my head. I'm here. I'm rolling, I'm slipping. I'm rolling, putting myself in positions like a Mike Tyson, but not as good and whipping in them body punches, getting more power in them because I'm moving my head and using the momentum of that movement, putting it behind each and every punch. Now, if your coach has taught you a lot of this stuff before, he's a good coach. But I guarantee you, he hasn't taught you tip number 7. But before we get on to tip number 7, we need to go on to tip number 6, which is going to help you improve your body punches. If you watch my videos regularly, you will know I always wear a shirt, but also you will know I always say repetition is the best way to improve anything. Repetition, repetition, repetition. As long as you're doing it the correct way. It's a waste of time doing repetition, repetition. If you're throwing sloppy punches, you can be practicing all day long on a jab like this, but it's not going to get better. You need to be doing it the right way. When I'm inside in the bag, rather than just being here and just throwing 3 punches like that, let's get this lead hook to the body unbelievable. And this is why I used to stop so many opponents with my lead hook to the body. I would come in the gym and I would be working 3 hooks to the body. Look at that, 4 hooks to the body. And you can see that's a solid lead hook to the body. 3. Let's do 6. Because I can throw 6 great, strong, solid lead hooks to the body. Just imagine how good my single hook to the body is. If I can throw 6 good, strong, solid lead hooks to the body, my single lead hook to the body is going to be phenomenal, which it is. Without being big-headed. It was my favorite punch. Now, number 7 and number 8 is what coaches don't really teach when they're on the heavy bag, and it's this. See what I'm doing here? Especially with this big guy. I'm pushing the bag, pushing it back. When I lean forward on the bag, what happens? Well, the gravity of that bag is pushing me back. Now, when you're pushing the bag, don't push it with your hands like this. I'm just using this as an example. Now, have your hands up here, and you're going to be using your legs to push the bag. So I'm here. The bag's pushing me back. See? I'm using my legs. And then from there, I can come back to it. I can even push it even higher here. Now it's getting even heavier. It's even harder. And this right here is not just helping me work inside, but I can feel it working my legs, working my core, and obviously working my punches, helping my punches get even better as well. And another great thing you can do when you are pushing the heavy bag like this is push it to create space. Like if you think I'm in the ring with someone, and if we're this close, like this, there's no real space for us to, like, for punches. That's when we've got to create space. So if I'm here, I can push the bag, create the space, and then as that space is created, then straight away whipping them punches. So I'm here, I'm going to create space for the punches. I'm here, I'm going to create some space. But it's crucial when you're doing this, you don't push your arms out like that. Can you see why? Look at me chin, it's wide open. But instead I'm here, I'm going to move forward, I'm going to use my legs, push with my legs. That's going to create that space and then whip the punches in. I'm here, pushing my leg. See, I'm here. Me look at my legs, got a slight bend in, use the legs, whipping in them punches. Does your coach teach you that? My coach never. I wish he bloody did though, because it would have helped. All right, moving on to number 8, which is another thing that coaches don't really teach when they're working inside. I'm going to show you it, and then I want you to see if you can guess what it is. So I'm going to be here, I'm working inside. See that? I think you did. I'm inside and I'm changing the angle. Moving around. Switching the angle. So a great way to think about this is, if you finish a combination with your right hand, step with your right foot, and then throw your opposite hand. So I'm here, I'm inside, I'll throw a short right hand to the body, I'm going to step with my right foot, and then throw my left hand. I'm here. Same if I do it to my left. I'm going to throw a left hook to the body, then I'm going to step with my left foot and throw the right hand at the same time. So I'm here. And when you're doing it that way, I'll have it on the screen here. When you throw your left hand, step to your left, or when you throw your right hand, step to the right, and this puts you in the perfect position to be able to throw these punches. Now, real quick, the reason why I've got my shirt off like this is because it doesn't seem like 2 minutes ago I looked like this. I was fat, I was out of shape. I just felt really bad about myself. And now I'm the same weight as I was 16 years ago when I fought in the Olympic Games. I'm 81 kilograms. And I did this not just through exercise, but by diet as well. Now, if you want to get in shape, you can when you learn to master boxing. If you click here, you'll be able to learn all about my master boxing course, where I guarantee you will get better at boxing if you do what it says in this course. So click here.